Welcome to the first episode of Austin Has a Podcast. It's going to be my sports-related podcast. It's the only podcast I have. It is all about fantasy sports and DFS. It is one part help writing my articles. I'm a writer for Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. It is another part just creating content and trying to get my brand out there, whatever that brand ends up being. So here we go. This is going to be the second Fantasy 316 video that I've done. For those of you who don't know, the Fantasy 316 is an article that I write, and it breaks down players at the quarterback, receiver, and the running back position. But what it doesn't do is just give you a plain boring ass top 10 list. I feel like there's a ton of top 10 lists out there. Anybody can make a top 10 list. Rankings do top 10s. So I wanted to do something different. So I came up with the 316 part because my name is Austin. Shout out to the 90s and the Attitude Era of wrestling. And when Stone Cold Steve Austin was popular, he had Austin 316, and that was a huge thing. So I figured I would use that because it was catchy. And then I had to figure out what the hell 316 was going to be. So I made 316, three quarterbacks. And because I don't want to rank 16 of anything ever in my entire life, I broke the 16 down into two halves. 8 and 8 is 16. So I will give you the top 8 and the top 8 receivers and the top 8 running backs. But I'm doing it outside of the standard top 10. This week I added a caveat that I may continue to do. I wanted something a little bit different. I wanted to make it more interesting because, you can just go outside of the top 10 and then list the first 8. So I included defenses. I'm not ranking defenses. I am not using the top 5 fantasy defenses for the season. So I have eliminated any players playing the the New England Patriots, the Niners, the Buffalo Bills, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Baltimore Ravens. So that makes it interesting because I've cut out the entire Buffalo and Baltimore game. So without further ado, here we go. Quarterbacks, your standard top 10. I'm using Yahoo. I use Yahoo Sports Rankings because the majority of my leagues are on Yahoo. So your top 10 are Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Patty Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Cousins, Winston, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees. So that leaves me outside of the top 10. My choices for quarterback are going to be Carson Wentz, Ryan Tannehill, and Baker Mayfield. Mayfield playing the Cincinnati Bengals should go off. Ryan Tannehill has actually been good. I mean, we hated him because, depending on who you are, I personally couldn't stand the guy when he was in Miami. I didn't think he was great, and he's come to the Titans, and he's doing pretty good. He's been a relatively good quarterback, and he's projected to have 18.5 points. So I'll take that. Carson Wentz is the one on this list that currently scares me. So we will see how that goes, but that is the basis. That is my 3 quarterbacks: Carson Wentz, Ryan Tannehill, and Baker Mayfield. Up next, we are going to go with the wide receivers. Top 10 receivers are Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Julian Edelman, Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, and DJ Moore. So after eliminating them, and I've also eliminated everybody who played in the Thursday night game, after all that, I've got Devontae Parker, who plays for Miami, which is terrifying, but he's the only guy you have to throw the ball to in Miami. So why wouldn't he be a good option? I actually really like that pick for lineups this week. Stephon Diggs, no Thielen. It's a no-brainer. Cooper Kupp. Matthew Berry is a little Cooper Kupp. The guy's been doing really good this year. Tyler Lockett, outside of DK Metcalf, they haven't had much else in Seattle to throw to. You've got the tight end and stuff like that, but I mean, receiver-wise, you don't have a bunch of options. Lockett, Robert Woods from the Rams, Jarvis Landry, who I don't care what anybody says, Odell Beckham Jr. this, Odell Beckham Jr. that. The number one receiver in Cleveland is Jarvis Landry. Like, points don't lie. I mean, he's getting the ball the most. Is OBJ a phenomenal talent? Yeah, he's great. But he's not catching the ball. He's not scoring any points. So, let's just call a spade a spade. Courtland Sutton, I really am sad he's on this list because I do not trust Courtland Sutton in a game because I don't trust the Broncos because they're the Broncos. And last but not least, you've got Jamison Crowder of the New York Jets. Sam Darnold should ball out of control in this game. And Jamison Crowder is going to be the number one option. They're playing Miami. There should be a lot of air yardage in this game. So we will see how that goes. Next up, we have the running backs. Running backs, top 10 running backs for this week due to Yahoo rankings are Christian McCaffrey, duh. Dalvin Cook, another duh. Kamara, another duh. Ezekiel Elliott, who's already played. Leonard Fournette, who is the only real running back on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Saquon Barkley, who I think could be interesting this week. Le'Veon Bell, who as of right now, today, when I'm recording this, was announced to be out. So he isn't even playing. Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, who has been great for the Titans, and Devontae Freeman, who I'm not sure I trust after the injury, but we shall see how that goes once again. With that being said, once you eliminate all of the teams that have played already from the Thursday night game, and once you eliminate the players that are playing against top 5 defenses, excuse me, that leaves you with Melvin Gordon, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, who is listed as questionable, so you got to watch out for that. Austin Eckler, Kenyon Drake, Todd Gurley, Chris Carson, and Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is the guy on this list who terrifies me the most because of the fact that Miles Sanders plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't know that they're going to be up enough in that game to run the ball a lot. And if they get in a shootout and Miles Sanders isn't used like you want him to be, then he may not be that great of an option. But somebody I want to do as an honorable mention on this list, and I don't normally do this, it's only the second video I've made, or in this first episode of the podcast, but Patrick Laird for Miami. Who else is going to be the running back? With Kalen Ballage out and no other real options, if you're looking for a contrarian play, somebody to put in a lineup that is going to go out there and get the ball, Patrick Laird of the Miami Dolphins could be a contrarian play, especially for DFS lineups. So we will see how this goes. There will be an article on Eat Sleep Fantasy for this video. This is just the Cliff Notes version of my article. I'll have a little bit more depth, I think. I'd hope to. A whole bunch of words, but this is if you don't want to read, you don't have a lot of time. Plus, it makes a good first podcast episode. And something else I'm going to do tonight or in the morning, sometime between now and when kickoff happens tomorrow, I'm going to build 2 lineups and I'll put them on my Twitter page. One lineup I'm going to build using the articles, all the articles written this week from Eat Sleep Fantasy. So the good, bad, and ugly, the start sit, and I forget the other article. I apologize. I should have come prepared to class. I'm going to use those, and I'm also going to build a lineup using nothing but my 316 article. So I will also not be playing defenses. I'm guessing that I'm going to try and use one of the top 5 defenses that I faded players with, and then kickers and all that good stuff. So yeah, look for those 2 lineups. Follow me on Twitter at Austin Fantasy. You can find me on Facebook, also at Austin Fantasy. At Instagram, if you love the gram, do it for the gram. Austin Fantasy on the gram also. So until next week, peace out. I can't do peace out, Matthew Bredas. Hey, if you watch this video and you listen to the podcast or anything, and you have a good idea for my outro or a catchphrase or something I should say all the time, hit me up on Twitter at Austin Fantasy. And you never know, I may use your suggestion. So until then, see you later. Thanks, guys.